So, you've been trying to conceive for a year, and your gynecologist refers you to a reproductive endocrinologist. After they did a battery of tests and had you try some medications and procedures with no positive pregnancy, they've now advised IVF. What is IVF? How is it done? Should you do it? What are the alternatives? IVF is in vitro fertilization, a process by which medication is given to the female to stimulate her ovaries, thus creating more follicles, while the male is asked to produce a semen specimen that is washed down and combined with the female's eggs. They combine the best of the sperm and the eggs to create embryos. Now, if you believe that life begins at conception, when the egg and the sperm meet, like all embryology books state, this is where the process becomes inherently anti-life. At this point, however many embryos you have is really how many children you have. But not every embryo will survive this process. Every embryo that is created is graded. Those that are of poorer grade will likely be discarded. This is the first place where your children could be lost. Now, say you end up with 5 viable embryos, but they're unable to put more than 2 in the uterus at once. 2 will be implanted in the uterus, and the remaining 3 will be frozen for later use. Many times when these embryos are thawed, they don't survive. And those that do survive may have sustained some damage in the thaw. This is the second place where your children could be lost. Now, if they have placed 2 embryos into your uterus and both of these take off, they may split into twins and you could have anywhere from 2 to 4 babies growing. If there are more than 2 babies in the uterus, the IVF doctor will next offer reduction. This will decrease the risks of preterm delivery and children with poor outcomes. But reduction is another word for abortion. This mom, who struggled to conceive just one healthy child, is now faced with the choice of killing one to improve the chances of the other. Just by studying the basics of the IVF process, you can understand that it's inherently anti-life. The natural alternative to IVF is the use of NaPro technology. NaPro technology is the use of the Crichton model fertility care system to chart a woman's natural cycle. The observations that stem from this process allow a NaPro doc like myself to identify patterns that typically accompany specific fertility problems. Using those findings, we can pinpoint timing for hormonal tests and offer patients treatments to increase conception rates. Oftentimes, the solution is as simple as understanding the timing of fertility or supplementing with natural hormones to support an early pregnancy. The pregnancies that result from NaPro are typically singleton and rarely twin pregnancies. This makes them lower risk. The treatments for NaPro technology would never lead to intentionally ending the life of your child. The birth rates with NaPro technology are at least equivalent to IVF, and at times they have been said to exceed those of IVF without the additional risk of birth defects associated with IVF. So why not ditch IVF? Check out NaPro technology. It's ethical, it's economical, it's safe, and it's pro-life.